Hello everyone, my name is TheMadScorpyon and welcome to another Dev Inside blog coverage over the topic of solo ops, a new interesting take, at least on terms of lower fire team counts, that will at least hopefully keep things fresh for the people that don't always fire team up for every single activity. Now, the TLDR, solo ops are 10-minute missions that can be completed by single players or fire teams. They are low commitment options that still allow you to use challenge customization to make progress towards better gear, and they are being built for their experiences to stay fresh across repeat plays. Now, the problem. Over the last few years, we've built onto the promise of Destiny as a game where you can come together with other Guardians and enjoy the game together. We've built a lot of new match-made activities from Battlegrounds to Onslaught and rolled out features like the Fireteam Finder to make it easier than ever to join up with people. We've watched our community come together like never before, and that's great. Sometimes you just want to jump in and play for 10 or 20 minutes and feel like it was worth your time. Right now, only options for doing so either put you in direct competition with other players with Crucible and Gambit, or can feel like you're in a race to finish against your own fireteam members like people that absolutely blitz strikes and fire Battlegrounds. The activities best suited for solo players are time-consuming. Story missions can take half an hour or more to complete. Lost sectors require you to go to the destination to play them, and jumping into multiplayer activities as a solo player, for example soloing a dungeon, can be stressful and take even more time than the activity would with the fire team. Identify a gap in the offerings, short activities that lone players can take at their own pace. The solution! Solo ops are activities aimed at short playtimes and manageable for solo players. They will be launched from the portal and have a target-based playtime of about 10 minutes. Each solo ops activity emphasizes the fun of Destiny's combat action gameplay, presenting players with a straightforward objective that focuses on gunplay. Solo op missions aren't intended to be intense tests of build crafting prowess or thumb skill. Instead, we want to focus on the joy of playing Destiny's action sandbox in a way that's easy to jump into and play in just a few minutes. So think of a solo queue casual mode, I guess, for just random activities. Now, the reward scaling. Solo ops will be support scoring and challenge customization, like I mentioned before, where you can manually input different modifiers into activities, like many of our activities. As such, they will allow players to make incremental progress towards better and more powerful gear and support customizing the difficulty of the activity with a wide variety of modifiers. You'll still want to play well in solo ops activities. Your score will contribute to the quality of your loot, but we are trying our best to construct these missions so that getting a good score is a matter of moving, shooting, and looting rather than being determined by what loadout and build you're going for them. Now, the mission variability, that's how you say that. Another goal of solo ops is to create activities with higher variability between plays. Since you'll be playing these missions as a way of making progress towards better gear, we are trying to make sure that they stay fresh longer and are making them less predictable in what content you see. For example, at this time we're aiming to have each mission come with a variant of at least 2 combatant factions, each with a unique objective associated with it. Solo ops missions will sometimes come with optional goals that will only present themselves once you're in the activity, like the presence of treasure goblins or a passageway to secret rooms opening when they are normally closed. We are also scattering random treasure chests throughout the activity, and finding them will grant you a bonus to your final score. One piece of activity tech that we've been working to build for these missions is a dynamic enemy spawning system. The system runs behind the scenes, monitoring how well you're doing and how long it's been since you've been in combat, and how close you're getting to the objective, and then spawns squads of enemies when the system determines that you need to be challenged. Unlike other activities where the enemy spawn's cadence and locations are often scripted, solo missions will spawn enemies at unpredictable times from places when you may not expect them. Now, visiting exciting locations. Since solo ops are part of the core game that is free to play for everyone, I also want to take advantage of the fact that across the game there are many locations that are either not used in free content or are underused despite being a fun place to play. A lot of beautiful, exciting spaces play host to only a single story mission, and players have no reason to go to these places outside of the mission. Some, like the Salesworks area in the EDZ, I'm assuming this is one of the old story places, are currently entirely unused. These are awesome, unique Destiny spaces, and we think the solo ops is a great venue for going back and visiting some of these places that may have not gotten as much attention as their craftsmanship deserves. Solo ops missions will take you into spaces you might have visited before, but the new objectives and dynamic enemy spawning system help to make the experience feel both fresh and familiar. For many players, solo ops missions might be the first time you go to these locations, and we think that everyone should have a chance to experience these iconic spaces. Overall, we hope that solo ops missions will be a good activity for players who only have a short amount of time to play, prefer to play by themselves, or are looking for a lower intensity way to level in the Destiny 2 sandbox, as well as any combination of those three. Now, some details. For playing them solo or with a fire team, solo X activities will accommodate up to 3-player fire team, because we never want to tell you that you can't play with friends. We are working on a system to automatically scale up the difficulty of encounters based on fire team size. However, if you want to play with other people, Fireteam's Ops is going to offer a more efficient path for better gear. Now, matchmaking. No, if you want to play with other people, Fireteam's Ops is going to be the way to go. Keep in mind, there will not be matchmaking. If you want to play with a manual setup Fireteam, you can have them, but it won't have random people just popping in. And will solo ops include champions, banes, and other modifiers? We haven't locked down any specific set of modifiers that are going to support in solo ops. We can't just use them, the same modifiers, and say strikes, because we're really aiming at a tight experience that solo players can enjoy. We want to make sure that the modifiers, we don't push the mission away from that experience. We don't want to, we do plan to support banes, and we think they offer an exciting way to increase the variety of experiences you have across multiple plays. So that is the article at large, which it sounds honestly like a good thing. Because personally looking at it, I know at least when it comes to the story, I am blitzing it. I have one person right now I invite to run through it. Otherwise, obviously, because I have to make my videos on them, I usually just blitz the story, most of the activities, and if I can, with Grandmasters, I will go no mic and just run them with randoms in the Fireteam Finder. But otherwise, for basic activities like strikes or something like that, I wouldn't really typically want Fireteams. At least, I know in terms of strikes, if I'm there and I'm working on bounties, it is super annoying sometimes having teammates that either blitz the final boss or otherwise are absolutely spamming ad clear setups. So the idea of a solo kind of area where you can have your own place to craft, work on things, or at least a live fire activity that you can beta test some places while not feeling like you're doing something that's outdated that actually has a relevant based loot pool, actually it sounds quite solid. Personally, I do think this sounds like a good addition into the portal, which is going to be at least the main way that people choose activities going forward, or at least one of the premier ways. But personally, I'm still just hoping that stuff is developing and we can get a little bit more info about some development aside from just the simple and otherwise vague stuff. Like, come to think of it right now, of course, my current issue with Bungie is whether or not Destiny Rising stuff will be coming to Destiny 2. That's legitimately, if they had a developer insight that just said, yes, there will be shared content between the games, I would be satisfied. But, you know, I just would like more communication from the communication folks that think that this is enough. Because honestly, it doesn't feel like it. I know there still has to be some secrecy, but they're just giving us mechanics and we're not getting details. But aside from that, my name is TheMadScorpyon. I will see you in the next video.